David Nurse, the 1%. 1%er podcast?
Yeah, 1% podcast.
1% podcast.
Mm-hmm.
On the Kyle Kingsbury show. We just did your podcast.
Yep.
We got to meet each other at Aaron Alexander's fabulous get together in the Palisades at our boy Justin's house, and get to meet a lot of other cool people. I've been diving into your podcast and love it. And it's funny how synchronistic it is, because here we are from two different walks of life working in the same direction of optimization. But I wanted to, always on my podcast, I like to get background. So
yeah,
before you were into this, what was life like growing up? Did you play basketball? Like, what gravitated you towards where you're at now?
Man, so from as young as I can remember, I was playing basketball. And everything that I did revolved around playing in the NBA. That was literally like my dream, my mission, my everything. And nobody ever told me I really wasn't going to do it. So maybe my parents should have said, hey, you're probably going to be like 6'2", not that athletic. Maybe you should play golf or something. But they were supportive and they encouraged it. So like everything that I did was based around playing in the NBA. So it's like, I mean, even when I was in high school, I wasn't too concerned about school. Even when I was in college, everything was playing in the NBA. And I didn't have a backup plan or anything like that. So I got the opportunity to go play overseas, and I'm playing overseas in Australia and Greece and Spain, and I'm playing, and it's not like what you would think it would be, you know? So I'm playing in this like third division overseas league in Spain, where the players are more concerned about beers at halftime or partying after the game, or like they don't really care about basketball. It's kind of like the movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell. It's like you think you're actually doing something great, and I was over there. I'm just training like twice a day. I'm studying film. Like I'm doing everything an NBA player would do. Mindset development. Like that's me. But then I'm playing in this just joke of a league, and like. That's like my background was all towards playing in the NBA. So everything, you got to think, everything that I poured into that was literally right there on the table there in Spain. And then I get cut from that team. So everything that I've put in my life is turned upside down on my head. I not only get cut from a horrible league in Spain, like I have nothing else going for me. So I come back. I live on my parents' recliner chair in Kansas City for about 5-6 months, just feeling bad for myself. And my mom just doing dishes. She'd always love to just say like these life lessons and stuff. She says, David, when one door closes, two more open. And it just kind of caught me because I'd always heard the one more and one and stuff like, okay, maybe if that door closed, there's something even better for me that I didn't even realize. And for some reason, I have no idea why, that one of the ones stuck with me. And I realized it's like everything that I've done to optimize myself, my mind, my body to be an NBA player, which just wasn't in the cards for me, was actually so I could coach, so I could train, so I could help other players get to the NBA, so I could help players that were born with the talents and the abilities to do so to get there. So everything I had poured into myself that I thought was me playing in the NBA was me coaching in the NBA. So it sparked something there. Like, okay, now that's the mission that I'm here to do. And it was a big pivot in my life. And that's why I wrote the book Pivot and Go is because we all go through those situations where we feel stuck. We don't know what we're going to do next. How do we pivot out of that situation? And for me, is playing basketball was setting me up. It was preparing me for the opportunity to coach. So I literally ordered basketballs. Like I decided, okay, I'm going to be an NBA coach. I'm going to be the best shooting coach because that's literally all I could do playing basketball. I couldn't even touch the rim hardly. Wrong sport once again. So I ordered these basketballs from China to be customly made, like shooting balls, so you could see the rotation on the ball, and had them shipped out to Oakland. And I lived in Kansas City. Got in my car, drove 28 hours to the Oakland port, packed them all into my little car while there's all these huge trucking things packing all this stuff out there in my little car, and I start driving all over the country. I'm emailing, calling 7th grade girls basketball coaches, high schools, local YMCAs, just stopping in there with my basketballs in my trunk doing basketball camps. I'm sleeping in Walmart well-lit parking lots and freezing middle of winter in Iowa, and just like literally just going camp to camp to camp to camp, just grinding, just trying to be the best shooting coach that I can possibly be to anybody that would listen to me talk to them. So from there, I also had a few friends that had played in the NBA through my time playing that I got to develop relationships with. So I'd start training them. And I realized, man, I'm much better at encouraging and motivating these guys and showing them how they can be the best the best versions of themselves on court. So that kind of started spreading a little bit, and the camp started spreading, and I started to get to do some overseas, internationally, and just using relationships. And I mean, you know how it is. It's just somebody knows somebody here, and then there's somebody here, and you build those genuine relationships. And then doing camps overseas, and then one morning, it's about 5 years of living out of an airplane, living out of my car. I'm in Australia. Just got done doing a camp down in Australia, in Melbourne, and I get an email. It says Brooklyn Nets shooting coach, and I'm like, all right, this has got to be spam or something. This is bogus. I opened it up. They said, are you interested in being the Brooklyn Nets shooting coach? I'm like, oh, of course I am. This is what I was called. I get a coach in the NBA. So a week later, I'm out in Brooklyn at 27 years old, probably a little bit too young for the opportunity that I got there. Not ready enough for that opportunity. As we go more into that later, but I'm 27 years old, Brooklyn Nets shooting coach, and I thought I made it. So there it was. I achieved my goal. Like, I didn't get to play in the NBA, but then it was coaching the NBA. So I thought I'd made it. I thought I achieved it. No, it's a long answer for the whole background, but
No, that's great.
But and then right at the end of the season, everybody gets fired. And I came on mid-season, so I was like, all right, I'm good. And I talked to management and stuff. They said, yeah, you're good. We loved what you've done. And 3 weeks later, I'm not good. I'm fired from that. I'm gone. The whole new staff comes in. The whole new staff is out. So once again, I'm set there with, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to pivot to? And from there, it was pretty seemingly that I love helping NBA players. I love helping basketball players reach their highest level. So I was going to train NBA players in optimization. Started with on court, obviously with shooting, their development of their skills, but then it just kept growing because it's so much more than just in the skills that we do in any area of life. But it was how can they optimize themselves to be 100% of themselves every single day, and what that looks like. And a lot of that was through the body. And then over the past couple of years, it's been even just growing and evolving into more mindset development, and how important, like, before you can even optimize your body, you have to optimize your mind. So it's been a continual growth process of training NBA players. And I don't like the term life coach, because nobody needs a life coach. But I mean, until I can think of something cooler and better, then it's been being a life coach and a mentor to NBA players, and helping them become the best that they can be.
Yeah, I love that, brother. And I definitely gravitate towards mentorship.
Yeah.
Because I've met a few life coaches where I thought, like, man, good thing nobody's looking at your life, bro. I don't want to be judgmental, but wow,
exactly.
You know,
right.
mentorship's great, you know, and I think that's it reminds me of a quote that I'm not sure if he originated it, but I heard it from Frank Shamrock. Everyone needs a plus, a minus, and an equal in life.
Nice.
And the plus is somebody that's your mentor that you learn from. The minus is somebody that you are a mentor for. And the equal is somebody that you see eye to eye with and can learn back and forth from.
It's good.
The truth is you learn from everyone. You even learn from the minus, right? As you're coaching. But let's unpack the mental game. You know, and we can talk NBA players first, but I know that you coach much more than high-level NBA players. You coach high-level people and people that are, you know, business folks to whatever walk of life when they come to you. So I think there's a lot of things that people can extract from your knowledge base for everybody listening that's not going to play in the NBA. And I want to make that clear. So it's not just an NBA discussion, but let's talk at the highest level of sport.
For sure.
What are some of the ways that you optimize the mental game?
So firstly, if I'm going to have a player that I'm working with, I'm going to figure out everything that makes them tick. So this is for anybody in general too, but we'll keep it with the example of the NBA player. What makes them tick? Meaning, what motivates them? What is their reason? What is their purpose? So that at the core, I have to figure that out. And there's different ways that I'll figure it out. And actually, I've been doing a lot of. Have you ever done the Enneagram test, the personality test, which is like a really in-depth, like it goes super in depth of what type of person you are. So it's figuring out what type of person that they are, what's going to motivate them daily, what their purpose is of why they're playing basketball, why they're doing what they do, and then helping them understand that as well. So both I know that and they understand that. So at the core, at the base, I'm going to figure out the person that they are. Then I'm going to figure out what their goals are. So what their goals for an NBA player? Maybe it's a big contract, maybe it's an all-star game, maybe it's certain stats, or maybe it's whatever it might be. I'm going to figure out what their goals are, and we're going to map out a plan, map out a blueprint, what I call the breakthrough blueprint for them. So I mean, and then on a daily basis, it's going to be even more so for the. Well, we'll do a lot of mindset things. I'm really big on having them have their own personal mindset cards. So it'll be some type of saying that'll get them in the state of mind, whether it's today I'm going to be the best person I can possibly be. I'll let them self-create it.
So it's like a mantra or an
Yeah,
affirmation.
mantra, exactly.
Okay.
So they'll put it somewhere that they see first thing they wake up in the morning, and then we'll go into, like, I'm really big on visualization, like we talked about on my podcast. Is we'll visualize the whole day going through. So that's what I give them, a morning routine, the whole day going through, and it'll be whether it's a game or whether it's practice, but they're going to see the actions that they actually go in. So we'll take for example, we're going into a game. So I'll have them visualize the exact game that's going to happen. They'll see every shot they're going to get from every angle that they're going to get it from. They're going to see all the motions, the movements that they've done. So they've already actually done that. Like we talked about, that they've already actually gone through that process. And then I'm really big on is improving their strengths. Is everybody has strengths and weaknesses. And in the NBA, if you have one strength that you are great at, you can play in the NBA. But if you're average at a lot of things, you won't make it. And I think that everybody in life has some just amazing God-given ability that's great, that they have to find and they have to let show and not block down. Because we get a lot of times as too involved in worrying about our weaknesses and how we can up our weaknesses, but why not up our strengths? So I have them create a personal highlight reel that I'll have them watch before every single practice, before every single game. This personal highlight reel is going to be something where they had one of their greatest games, maybe in high school or in college, or something that just, like, it shows, like, man, this is, I call it their swag zone. They like the swag. So it's their swag zone. When you feel that swag zone, when you walk in, like you'd be walking into the ring with your swag zone with the music playing. So they'll have their own highlight reel. So we'll go visualization, we'll have their highlight reel. And I mean, that's a lot of the basis of the mindset development for that. I know I kind of touched on a lot of things.
No, that's great. You get them to live in the space of what they're good at. And that's something, that we spoke about this. Of course, I'll link to our episode on your podcast in the show notes. But we talked a little bit about the fighting visualization and what I utilize that for. There's another thing that I learned from Vanderlei Silva, where he would say, he didn't give a shit about anyone else's strengths or their weaknesses. All he cared about was his strengths, because he knew what he was great at. Yep. And he didn't care. And he even went as far as to not game plan for fights. He didn't care what they were good at. So he wouldn't have a game plan. Now, you could say that certainly worked while he was in Pride, maybe not in the UFC, but he was untouchable in Pride. And again, that goes back to that unwavering belief. But I think that's really a really cool point to bring up. Everyone does have strengths, and mastery of those and continuing to work on those so they become even stronger. Yeah. A lot of times that's easier than filling in the holes.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a great point too, is this, give me that, what was the quote again you said?
From Vanderlei Silva?
Yeah. What was he saying?
He was basically saying that he didn't care what anybody else was good at. He was going to focus on his strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what the NBA players can become. Their best when they're fully allowed to be themselves and have them be you, be who you are, and be fully who you are. Like Kobe and Jordan, they never worried about what other people were doing to them. I've spent time with their mental coach, and they said they just, like, it wasn't a game. It wasn't worrying or studying their defender. It was just worrying about themselves, because they knew they were untouchable. And it's that unwavering confidence that they have, and allowing people to be themselves and be who they are. That's like when I do workouts in the off season, we'll have 25, 30 high-level NBA players out here in Los Angeles training. And one of my big things is letting them be who they are. Like one of my players, Kelly Olynyk, will wear a backwards hat all the time in workouts. Like, obviously you can't wear a backwards hat in game, but it just lets out the person that he is. He's free to be himself. He's not confined in any tight structure that he has to be in. And that's where he really, they really grow. The off season's about development and how they can really grow, and just being able to fully be themselves is huge for players' confidence. And you wouldn't think it at the NBA level how important confidence development is, but it's really the name of the game. Like, how can you stay consistent? What I call relentlessly consistent is one of my favorite terms that I use with players. We're not going to say, hey, it has to be consistent in 20 points a game. Sure, that'd be great. You'd be a superstar. But it's consistent in your process. It's consistent in how you prepare for the game. It's consistent in your mindset during the game. Whether you miss a shot or make a shot, that's not what it's about. We detach ourselves from all misses, all failures, detach from. But if you know that you're going through the same process time after time, relentlessly consistent, it's going to build. Like it's going to build. It's going to have that long-term success that they're looking for. So it's a lot about. I mean, with these players and their confidence is just having them continually know how great they are. Like everybody's great, obviously at that level, but how great they are. And I think that's in general for all people. Like it's knowing like we're gonna think the worst is gonna happen, but it's knowing that hey, you're here for a reason and a purpose in this exact spot right now, and you can be so confident and comfortable in that situation.
Beautiful, brother.
Thanks, man.
Well, let's unpack a little bit of the optimization. When you
Yeah.
take on a new client, whether it's someone in the NBA, and this definitely applies to high-level athletes much more than people think. Sleep optimization and
Love
all the
it.
way down the list,
Yeah.
right? So I want to start with sleep, knowing how
Cool.
important that is, but just the things that apply to all people. So as you take on somebody else and you've started with the personality test and you've gotten into their core of who they are and how they learn and what's going to drive them in life, and you've set up their goals and then their path to break through and be the person that they can be. From there, what are the foundational pieces and building blocks that you use to optimize someone's life?
Dude, amazing question. Use the breakthrough right there too. That is the mindset start to lead to the breakthrough. So for optimization, the body optimization, the first thing is always going to be sleep. Like that is the building block if you want to optimize your performance, your athletic performance, your nutrition, everything starts with sleep. So I'll find out, like I'll have my players use an Oura ring, which is going to track is what I've found to be the highest level tracker, and I'll analyze their sleep. We'll talk about the main things that they need for the sleep. Obviously, I'm really big on sleeping in the cold. I personally use the Chili Pad Ulu to help me sleep in the cold. It's amazing.
Explain that one a little bit. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. I've used the Chili Pad before. I know Tim Ferriss was big on it back in the day. They're incredible.
It's amazing.
Unpack that for people.
Yeah, so the Chili Pad, it puts you to your body's temperature at whatever you choose it to be. And sleeping in the cold below 65 degrees is optimal. I like to have it on like 57. And they have a product called the Uller, which actually will rise and fall the temperatures with your body throughout the night to give you the best deep sleep and REM. So it goes under your or right on top of your mattress under your sheets. And it just like literally chills your body and gives you more restorative sleep, more regenerative sleep. It's just like it's a game changer. When I get it with athletes, it literally is a game changer. So sleeping in the cold is super important. Sleeping in the dark, and then also one thing about sleeping that I've learned through Ronaldo's sleeping coach and being able to speak with a lot of sleeping coaches is detaching yourself from the worry of that you have to get the 8 hours. So it's another mindset thing, but it's not about having to get straight 8 hours. Like the best sleepers, think about who the best sleepers are. Little kids. What do? Wake up, sleep, wake up, sleep, wake up, sleep. I know we can't all in our schedule, but having that mindset that we don't have to get it and we're not married to it. Like even with the Oura ring too, like we're not married to those scores. If it says a 73, maybe. I mean, you don't have to be married to that. Like it doesn't have to just that control and consume you. And then also another big thing with sleep is your evening routine, which I think is huge. Like morning routines have got really hot and I love morning routines. Like my morning time is very sacred. Like I'm going to have my morning routine because it sets me up for the day, but also your evening routine is going to set you up for the next day. It's going to set you up for your sleep, but also for the next day. And I'm really big on evening routine before you go to bed. Two things is making sure that you go to sleep in a happy state of mind, something positive, something that whether you watched a funny, lighthearted show or, I mean, just something. I like to just write out all my little things that I was thankful for the day that happened. My daily joys is what I call them, and it's amazing for HRV. Like it's a huge for HRV. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but like the happier you are when you go to sleep, the better your HRV is going to be.
Yeah, I want to jump in for a second. So I was telling you in between podcasts about the Heart Math Institute.
Yeah.
And that's one of the ways they prime you in their meditation, which is quantifying HRV during the meditation, is through gratitude. So literally you'll get a little note on your phone that says, think of one of your happiest memories with a family member or someone you
Nice.
love, right? And so like you think of that and you immediately see the score change. HRV goes up, right? So that's obviously it's not to say like everything needs to have science back it. I'm 100%
Yeah.
not down with that, but for sure that is a very, very true thing that happens. In a state of gratitude, HRV does go up. It's much easier to operate in a state of peace. And it's cool that you tied the connection to sleep.
Yeah, you know what's even more interesting about that too, is I love HRV because I think that is the main tracker of if you get great sleep is your heart rate variability. And even I learned this from Darshan Shah of Next Health, is even if people like close to you, your friends and family members across the country, if they're struggling with something, it's going to lower your HRV. But if they're happy and they're at a good place, like even your family members and the people around you, which makes a ton of sense with it, your community and everybody, if they have like joy and peace in their day, it even increases your HRV. So there's a point too of like hang around positive people. Don't let negative people be in your life. It's going to ruin your sleep and probably ruin your life.
Shitty sleep scores.
Yeah. But another thing that I like to have people do, and I've found that's worked a lot, is a challenging part of getting good sleep is we have so much going on in our days. There's so much running through our minds and just like so much monkey mind going on. Like just to let it out and have people write it out, journal it out, whatever it is on your mind that's keeping you from sleeping. Like I'll work with some MBA coaches or some CEOs that have a ton of responsibility and a ton of things going on, but I have them just write out everything they're thinking about, put it on a piece of paper so it's there, but they can just take it outside of their brain on the piece of paper and it'll be there when they wake up in the morning. But they don't have to lay in bed for 2 hours thinking about, oh, what's this defense going to do, or my manager over here is just dropping the ball, and just letting it out.
I love that, brother. I think you're referring to Ronaldo's coach is Nick Littlehale.
Nick
He wrote the book,
Littlehales, yeah, for sure.
Wrote the book Sleep. It's
Yeah.
absolutely one of my favorite books, and takes a very deep dive in how to optimize sleep. And a lot of that sleep cycle stuff that you mentioned is in there. And that's it's a unique way to look at how we sleep. And he talks quite a bit about other cultures, many cultures across the world still today use siesta, right? And obviously with our current work schedules, that's a bit hard to accomplish, but just taking some time for yourself, even a 30-minute power nap on your lunch break can really give you a boost in that second half of the day.
Oh yeah, naps are like the secret. People for some reason don't think you should take naps because they're like, oh, you're not working if you're taking a nap. You get so much more production and done in the second half of the day if you take that little nap. Like I'll literally just shut my eyes it'll be like 7 minutes. It's like plugging your phone in just for a minute. It's like 7 minutes. I'll just lay down, close my eyes. I'm rolling for the rest of the day.
There's a reason Google and some of these other massive empires have nap pods all throughout in every single building.
Isn't that crazy? Follow what the best do. Why don't people do more of that? I've always wondered that, man. Like even with basketball players, when I have to fix their shots, that's what I kind of started everything in, being the best shooting coach there was. And like, why wouldn't you just watch what the best are doing and do exactly what they do as shooting? Like there's all kinds of crazy shots. I know we're going basketball here, but like just watch what the best do. I'm sure it's the same in UFC. Just watch the best moves.
Yeah, start with the end in mind. Yeah. I mean, that's literally how you see the evolution of any sport is witnessing something that was previously not possible happen. Right. And then you're like, oh, if he can do that, I can do that. And all it takes is the person with that mindset to then go out and recreate that in their own way.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. What are some of the other ways? We talked about evening routine. Yeah. Talk a bit about your morning routine and then how you connect the dots during the day.
Yeah, for sure. So morning routine is a preparation for your day to come. It has to happen. If you just jump into your day and just turn on your phone, like it's going to drive you nuts. So I don't touch my phone for the first hour when I wake up. When I wake up, first thing I'm doing, I'm getting an ice cold shower, both for my mind, for my body, with the cold temperature, but also just to know that I can do that. Like I can do something difficult and challenging at the start of my day. Like the rest of the day is just pie. It's easy. So I'll get into a 3-minute cold shower, and then I'll come upstairs and I'll make coffee. I like a coffee and matcha mix while I'm rolling out fascia on a softball, getting just some light movement, just some light yoga stretches, something to get the blood flowing, movement. And then I'll just sit in the quiet. I'll sit in the quiet for 10 minutes. Like I'll literally put a stopwatch 10 minutes, and I'll just like I'll pray. I'll pray. I'll talk to God. I'll just sit there in the quiet. And you know how tough 10 minutes is to start off with 10 minutes? It's even really like you're much better at meditation than I am, but it's just like 10 minutes. People think I mean, you should be able to do 10 minutes, but try it out there. Try it. See if you can. So I'll do that. And then I'll usually go into my morning workout. Like I want to get a workout done in the morning. It just invigorates me through the day. I know for a fact just exercise is the number one, just improver in all life, in your brain health, in your overall joy, in your relationships. So I'll knock it out at the start of the day because I don't really know what's going to come the rest of the day. There's always things going on, and I just want to make sure that I get that done. So that's usually my morning routine. Sometimes, I'll open up things that like sometimes I'll go upstairs on the roof and watch the sunrise if I'm up early enough, or I'll go for a walk on the beach. But primarily those are my main things that are going to set up my day. So now I know I have my day ahead of me. Oh, sorry. Also, when I'm drinking my coffee, I'll also write 3 things that I want to accomplish by the end of the day. So I'm going to set my plate. I'm really big on I call it the full plate mentality, where you get your plate served to you at the start of the day, and that's what you're going to get done for the day. Like it's that, and you're going to have to be content with it. Like you're going to high achievers, we're going to want to do more and do more and do more and think, oh man, I could have done this or I could have got that done. But I know if I can hit those things, if I can do those 3 things, like I've had a great day. I've improved in that day. So I have my full plate mentality. I have 3 things. Then I also have 3 people that I'm either praying for, that I want to reach out to and tell them that I'm just thinking about them. And I used to send out texts and say, hey man, just thinking about you in my morning coffee time. And it was great. Now I'll do little videos for each person, which will make it even more personable to them. And it's got great response to it too, but it's just like, man, it's just really cool when you hear somebody that's just thinking of you. So those are my little 3 things that I'll do also in the morning.
That's beautiful. I absolutely love that. I forget where I read it, but gratitude not given is a wrapped present undelivered.
Nice.
And I thought of that, and it's like, yeah, anytime I feel love from my mom or a friend, and I'm sure you met Tate Fletcher. He's such a fucking beautiful fucking human.
He's awesome.
He called me yesterday, and I was driving with Paul Saladino, and he's buddies with Paul too, and he was like, well, I'll let you guys go, and I just wanted to connect with you, Kyle. And I'm like, look, I got a wide open schedule tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to call you back. And he's like, I just wanted to tell you I love you, brother, and I've been thinking of you.
So
and I was fucking, man, just warmed up through every cell in my body instantly. I'm getting fucking teary-eyed right now, just feeling that.
Awesome.
Like it's a palpable feeling that you can deliver to people. And even if you're not in the same state, I'm here, we're next to Venice. I'm thinking of him the whole time I'm in town and still not calling him. And then he reaches out to me and, oh man, are you in town? No, I'm in New Mexico. But it was still like, it's just a beautiful way to connect to people and let them know that you are thinking about them and that you love them.
Man, that's really cool. That's really cool. You're going to get a video from me.
I love it.
You will. I'm feeling it.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about how you connect the dots during the day. I think one of the key missing ingredients is something we touched on briefly in your podcast, is where you can trickle in these practices that reconnect you to your center.
Yeah.
And, it's amazing. Like if all you did was the things that you've talked about already, that's going to give you 80% at least of pointing you in the right direction and starting to get that. What I've come to realize probably in the last 6 months is, how can I trickle in even a microdose of something that's going to be effective in recentering me and calming me throughout the day. Yeah. And, that could be as simple as 3 minutes of breath of fire. It could be a walk in nature. It could be anything. But what are some of the ways that you kind of settle your mind or hit the reset button when you can and when it's needed?
That's such a good point, because it's so needed. Because even after that morning routine, then it's just, boom, it's go time. And I like to set up my days as putting things in different buckets. Like I know my highest focus time and my highest efficiency time is going to be in the morning. So I'm going to do anything that needs whether it's I just finished writing a book. So over the past year and a half, it had been doing something towards the book. Whether it was I treat it like a workout, like I'm going to have this hour where I'm going to write. And I'm going to write. If I get 2 words, it's 2 words. If I get 3 pages, that's great. But this is my bucket for doing my creative writing, which can go on another point too, which was both me and you believe in is if you speak something into existence of what you want to do, then you can absolutely do it. Like that's what I did with writing the book. It's like I've been an NBA coach, basketball coach, everything that people think about me when they think of my name is basketball, NBA, basketball. But now I want to be an author. Now I want to be a speaker. So I made that as when if I put that right at the start of my day, that's the most important thing of my day it's going to be. So I'll have my buckets of being something that I'm going to do that I need to highly focus on. But you can't stay in that. And I try to get into flow state, and I try to get into the most just mental, just in-depth zone I possibly can. But you can't sustain that for long. You cannot sustain that for long. So I'll definitely hit a reset button. Like I'll hit a reset button where I'll actually just like sitting in a squat position and just literally just the same people that I'm thankful for. Like I do like Christ is a big important part of my life, and I'll just shoot up little prayers. Like I'll shoot up prayers for my brother, for my family, or for my wife, and just kind of just centers me back and like, why am I really here doing what I'm doing? And you have to have that like built into your environment too to be able to do it. And you have to actually like I would have I haven't done it as much lately as I should, but on my phone I'll have an alarm 3 times a day that will really be like a reset button alarm where I would just stop for 5 minutes and I would do that. And it no matter what, if I just got going and going and going, that reset button would hit and I'd be able to come back and bring myself to center. Okay, now I can recharge and then go on to the next. Because I would find myself just wearing down, like feeling like I have that sense in me that I have to keep doing. And I love it. Like I love it. Like we get to live the life we want to live, and it's amazing. We want to do, but we also have to be able to have that peace and have that slow down too. And I remember last summer I was training NBA players in the off season. It was in July, like middle of the off season, and I had like 26 just like really good NBA players. It was a lot of players in the gym at one time, and it was great talent in there. But I was just going just day after day after like all day, like 9 hours in the gym, and just dying, man. And I remember I pulled over, and it was in Santa Monica, and I pulled over in the evening coming back here to Marina Del Rey, and just sat on a park bench, and I was just thinking, I can't do this. Like I gotta get out. Like I can't do it. Like my mind is just done. And I saw a little kid just dribbling his basketball with his dad walking by. I was like, wow. Like if I'm 8 years old, if I'm the younger version of me, like thinking about what I'm doing now, training NBA players, training 26 NBA players, like that's a dream come true. Like I would give anything to do that. So now a big thing that I like to do is when I feel myself getting stressed, feel myself like I can't slow down, like I'll think of the younger me. And I have pictures actually down in my me and my wife's bedroom is of younger pictures of myself and of her. So it's just puts us in that state of just thankfulness and just joy and that when you were young, like how much love and excitement you had for life. So those are a few things that I like to do to bring myself back is have those just times where I know that I'm gonna stop with an alarm and I know I'm just gonna be thankful and shoot up prayers for people. And then I have these little memory things, these pictures or mindset quotes that I'll carry with me just to help me bring me down.
I love all those. So yeah, that 5 minute reset. I think it's Pomodoro technique.
Okay.
20 minutes on, 5 minutes off.
Yeah.
You can scale that. Obviously, if you can
Yeah.
get more done, you could do an hour on, 5 minutes off. But the break is equal to the
Yes.
to the doing, right?
For sure.
And bringing up Christ. Have you read Ted Decker's work? He has 2 phenomenal books that I highly recommend for people, especially well, no matter what your belief is. But it's on the true teachings of Christ, and it's done
Cool.
in a fictional story. It's 2 books, The 49th Mystic and Rise of the Mystic. So I'll link to those in the show notes. And they're
Nice,
2 of the
dude.
most beautiful books that I've ever read. Just
Awesome.
phenomenal. And he's a homie and a mentor for sure of mine and Aubrey's.
Awesome.
And then the last thing you talked about, I thought that was so cool because seeing yourself as that little kid in joy and play and in innocence and reconnecting to that space, and it allows you to remember to play. It allows you to remember what that was like. And it also allows you to see and witness all that you have done.
Yeah.
You know, it's a way by revisiting the past to witness the present. Because in all of our accomplishments and doing, we're still only looking forward to whatever the fuck is next. What's the next thing that I'm going to accomplish? What's the next thing I need to get done? Right? You finish a book. Dope. What's the next book that I'm going to write?
Yeah, it's always like
where
that.
Where will I go speak? How will I promote it? Which shows will I go on? Right? Like it's a never-ending thing, right?
Yeah.
So to take time for yourself to witness that young man, you know, that's such a very, very cool practice that I'm going to start to employ.
It's fun too.
Yeah.
It is.
Thank you for that, brother.
That is tough. Like, how can you be content in a moment? How can you be hungry and content? Like, that's the key to joy right there. Like, if you can be content and like knowing that you're sitting on this couch with me right now, here for a reason and for a purpose, and this is exactly where you're meant to be. Like, that contentment is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. But we always do have that feeling of, man, I got to do something next. I got to get to that. I got to get to that. I got to get to this next thing. And that's
yeah, I think for me, it's been unattaching myself from outcome and unattaching myself from the how and when, right? And that's some of the beautiful lessons that I know I just spoke about this recently on a podcast. If it was mine, I apologize for being repetitive, but Dr. Joe Dispenza posted this thing on how to utilize intention and surrender.
Yeah.
Right. So we set our intentions, whatever it is to accomplish in the day, or we set our intentions of what we're going to accomplish, our bigger goals and dreams in life. And we surrender to the how and when with full trust and faith that it does happen in the exact timeline that it is supposed to happen.
Perfect, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been a key takeaway for me, is because I don't necessarily want to unattach from the intention itself. It's like, why create a goal then in the first place?
Yes,
right?
Yes.
But if I can unattach to the how and when and believe fully that will happen as it's supposed to and when it's supposed to.
Man, you just hit on such a great point, the win. And when working with NBA players, this is a big thing too. Like, their opportunity, not all the players that I've worked with is not the LeBron James, the Kevin Durant's, the one that is just God-given abilities, but it's the players who got the most out of their abilities, like the Kyle Korvers, the Jeremy Lins, the Aaron Baines, who might not have been in the NBA, but being able to shift their mindset. I mean, obviously, I'll take 0.0000001% credit for it, but it's them knowing that their opportunity will come, preparing for that opportunity. And like you said, the win. Like, for a player, I'll just give a quick story example. For a player that I've worked with, Aaron Baines, one of my very close friends. I played with him actually overseas for a little bit before I went to that horrible team that I told you about. But anyways, so then he came, like after that, he came over and he got with the San Antonio Spurs. Excuse me, which was amazing, the Spurs. But he's not playing a minute. And I remember right when he got there, he told me he's going to be the best towel waver there is. The best towel waver. And he literally was. Like, he would just get everybody going, waving his towel like crazy. Did that for 2 years. Wow. 2 years. Hardly saw the court. They won an NBA championship. But so people saw that, man, with the best teammate, with the best team and the best culture, there's something about this guy. And like, literally, that's how he got a contract, a $21 million contract with Detroit, then with the Boston Celtics, now with the Suns, and just made an NBA career with understanding that the win is coming. But you got to be like so present in the moment of what you're given, like what situation you're given, right? Do the best you can in the situation you have right now, and just everything else will come.
So beautiful, brother. Well, man, it's been awesome having you. Thank you for having me over. Where can people find you?
You can find me Instagram, David Nurse 5. Like to do a lot of Instagram stories, crazy stories or goofy stories, but Instagram David Nurse 5 and website davidnurse.com. And you can check out my book that just came out on pre-sale. It's Pivot and Go. So that's anywhere books can be found, Amazon, all that, davidnurse.com. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Or come out here to Marina Del Rey and kick it with us. Come on this couch and buy our Christmas tree here.
And the podcast, of course.
Yes, obviously the podcast, the 1% podcast that you were just on. And that's the way to find me.
Thank you so much, brother.
Dude, amazing. Thank you very much.